This is SP, and I'm here with a special guest host, Miss Morgan, Passive Assassin. I'm sure you all know her. She's a big supporter and a big fan of A1. So we invited her to come and talk with us today. So happy to have you here, Morgan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. And then we have Miss Tiptoe. Hey, Tiptoe.
Hey, SB, you look nice, girl. You
Thank
look
you.
good. Look at you. I love that lipstick.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'm good though. I'm just tired. I work too much. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And our special guest today is Mr. A1. How are you?
Yeah.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. How's everybody doing?
We are chilling and
Blessed.
just excited
Blessed.
to have you.
Well, thank you. It's an honor to be here.
And I don't want to forget the man behind the blue wall up there, Nev.
Kaboom! Look who stepped in the room to cow. It's Neville here. Greetings, everybody. Good night, everyone. Salute.
Salute, bro.
So I'm always start off with this question, and just for the people who don't know you, where are you from and how did that impact how you do your music today?
Okay. Well, great place to start. I was born in Brooklyn, raised in
Mm.
Virginia, and that definitely impacted my music because I think that I was just born at the perfect time, at the right place, under the right set of circumstances to be a part of hip hop culture. So definitely being born in the city, I was raised till I was 9 years old there. I was able to pick up on the growth of hip hop. So born in 80. So by the time I'm conscious of the music, it's like 85, 86. And that's, the beginning of like this golden arc of hip
Right.
hop. The first golden era of hip hop, 87, 88. And that's when I really started to comprehend the lyrics, the dialogue, the music even more. And I began writing raps, at 8 years old, based on just the way that I was influenced by the artists of that time. In the ages that they were. I have aunt and uncles that are, you know, the age of like most of the my heroes. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
my aunt's uncle was teenagers at that time. So they was feeding me a lot of music. They had friends that was already into hip hop, because my neighborhood at that time I was living in Fort Greene, which is a very hip neighborhood now in Brooklyn. But back when I was growing up, it was a little more rough, but it still had that artistic and hip vibe where people in the industry and throughout music would just come through. They always knew somebody who lived in Fort Greene because it's downtown, it's in Brooklyn, close to the Albee Square Mall and walking distance to the Albee Square Mall, which was
Mm.
a very popular mall, that rappers used to shop at and everything. So I think that just that being at that place at that time just set me up for to see it, unfold firsthand, from the music to the fashion to the cultural aspects of being involved in hip hop culture. It really helped. And by the time I got to Virginia, hip hop was already worldwide. That's 1989 when I came to VA, and you know, once it's worldwide, it's everywhere.
Everywhere.
It's like the air. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it wasn't hard to find the scene of Virginia either, and Virginia is another place where I came, and it was like serendipity. I came to Hampton Roads, the 757, and there you got famous New York guy comes down to Virginia, Teddy Riley,
Right.
area, and that birthed Pharrell, Tim,
Pharrell. And
Missy, Neptunes, you know what I mean? Knots, Bink Dog,
it was a great era then too.
Timberland.
right. So, just from proximity, I got to meet, mingle, with some of the higher talent from the area, and it's a beautiful thing, because it's very laid back in Virginia. So it's like I had the best of both worlds. I got to see the beginning of hip hop, and then I got to see like a regional thing take place with so many successful artists that come from the same area. So it was like
Right.
reliving the same thing over and over again through a different lens. And I think that it definitely helped to carve out my niche for music the way that it is now. So yeah.
That's amazing. That is amazing. As I was in '89, I was already in what? I was almost 20. I was almost 20 years old. So yeah, I remember the Missy era and the '80s too. The '80s were special for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Right, right. So, I was always the youngest kid in the room, even though I'm my mother's oldest son. Being the oldest child always gonna make me the youngest in the room. So,
Right.
all my friends are older than me. Everybody's older than me. I was like the little guy in the club, that wasn't supposed to be there, but it was like it's cool. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he's supposed to be here. You know what I
Right.
mean? So that's kind of how things always panned out for me, and it definitely shaped me as a musician.
That's awesome. So let so who was okay, so let me ask you, who were your influences? And you can start like if you like from the time you were in Brooklyn when you was still there because you said you started writing around 8, right?
Yeah, I was still
So
in Brooklyn when
yeah.
I started writing.
So I'm interested to see who your influence was then, and then when you
Mhm.
moved, who became your influence there?
Okay, so at 8, my first influence was Kane, Big Daddy Kane.
Mm,
I used to watch, Video Music Box. Shouts
yes,
out to Uncle Ralph McDaniels, and I saw the video for "Ain't No Half Stepping," and just the way
amazing.
he moved,
Yeah,
how smooth his delivery was, the loop, the beat, everything
yeah,
about that record was like so
eh,
perfect that,
perfect. Yeah.
yeah, I just wanted to write. I just wanted to be a part and participate. Not only that, he was a dark skinned fellow with a high top fade. He reminded me of my uncle. So I was like,
Ah,
"Well, if he could do that, and he's looking like my uncle. I'm like, I'm close to my uncle. I could do that.
right.
So that's what really got me started. By the time I got to Virginia, it would be 1991, 1992 when I first encountered a record from Nas, which
Mm,
was Live at the Barbecue, and then
barbecue.
I seen Halftime, the video for Halftime, because it was on the Zebrahead soundtrack, and it was Nas, and it was also Guru, even
Guru. Yeah.
Guru, definitely Gangstar, so those are like my earliest influences up until like I was in junior high school and everything. And as I got older, I started looking at more the technical aspects of making music. How people would do it and why they would do certain things. And then, I discovered Doom. Well, I knew who he was, rest in peace. I knew who he was from KMD, because I was a super fan of rap music. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
rap nerd, like hip hop nerd. I'm knowing everything. So I knew who he was, but I was like, something's different about his voice. This is how his voice matured. It was weird. And he was also monotone when I heard him.
Hmm.
And I said, I like this because I'm monotone.
Right.
I was like, I like this. He's proven to me that this works. He's showing me that it works. He's showing me a lane. So Doom would be an influence, and also Dilla and Madlib. Just their chemistry and what they brought to the table, production wise. They made music the way that I listen to music.
But
You
I yeah, I feel
so
that.
yeah, they reverse engineered things.
Hmm.
So I understood what they were doing. Like I'm like, damn, Doom, took this break. from a hip hop record, those drums,
Right.
got this weird R&B sample that my mom would listen to. Like he's doing, like boom bap drums on Anita Baker, and Sade.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. You know what I'm
Yeah. Yeah. I like that too. Doom.
saying?
Doom was special, man.
Yeah,
He Dilla too. Like there's um. I really hope that a lot of people that haven't fully heard their discography like take time to check it out because yeah, they were special. I agree.
yeah,
There's a lot of Doom stands out here. A lot. You see on Twitter the profile with the Doom mask. I mean, there are a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And with Dilla's, it was the swing. It was the way
Hmm.
he manipulated his drums. He gave a lot of soul to the music. He put his
Yeah.
soul into it. And I still listen to Donuts regularly. It's like just a beautiful album because you hear the fear of going, you hear the acceptance, you hear the love, that he's
Yeah.
trying to spread. You hear this, and he was able to do it on the instrumental album, which was incredible to put that type of feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
had hitting his drums, he had like the fingertips of gold.
Yeah.
It's special in that way. And Mad,
R.I.P. Dilla, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely. And for Madlib, it was the rapping. It was having again, he had an alter ego, Quasimodo, Lord Quas, and all of
Right.
that.
Right. Right.
But also, it's him educating you, taking you through a sample library that you can never own these records. You will scour the internet just to find out what the sample he used
Right.
was. you know,
That. Yeah.
the vast knowledge, just the knowledge. I appreciate artists who can teach me something and who I can learn from to help elevate my craft. So that's how, producers ended up becoming, inspiring me. Like
Right.
it'll be golden to rap over there, those type of beats. You know what I mean?
You
So
have some amazing influences.
thank you,
Yeah,
thank
yeah. I'm just listening. When you mentioned the alter egos, Cool Keith had alter egos too.
you. Oh,
You
absolutely.
remember? Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely.
There are a few artists that had alter egos. Like, yeah,
Absolutely. Cool Keith, from the time he was with ultra magnetic MCs up until the point
right.
where, Dr. Octagon and all of
Doctor
that.
Octagon.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, like he's brought character, charisma, wit,
right,
storytelling, and a different arc to the music. I think, when you think about obscurity, the ultramagnetic MCs were like one of the first groups to really, just embrace the obscurity, but not like in the way that De La did. It was just in
right.
a harder way, a harder hitting way. So
Yeah,
yeah, respect.
I love them. Yeah, I used to listen to. I still listen to them a lot. Yeah. And Cold Keith. I've been on my Sean Price lately, though, listening to Sean P.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Rest in peace, Sean P. Yeah,
yeah.
it's so many. It hurts to
So it's,
say that. Just for
yeah,
so
it
many
does.
different artists, we losing so many. It just it starts to dawn on you every time you bring somebody,
Right.
and you're like, oh God, rest in peace. Like talk,
Yeah.
you know,
It's sad,
turn to the
because
essence.
you grow up listening, or you fall in love with their music. And they become, it's almost like the artist becomes a part of your life. If talking to you from a fan standpoint, like when I listen to
Mm-hmm.
your music, and I can relate to a lot of things, so it's like you become a part of my life because the art, the music. So when they pass away, it's hard. Like I had a hard time with DMX's passing, all of them, Sean P, Tupac, Biggie. I could go on and on. Jam Master Jay, Big Pun, like it. Fred the Godson, like good man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. It's just so many, and I think that it's just a testament that musicians need to think about things like maybe unionizing or buying into some
right.
type of plan where we
Mm-hmm.
can have, health insurance
Yeah,
for one
yeah.
day. It's putting something together for hip hop. I think would be a good start. for
That's a
future.
perfect
Yeah,
Yeah.
idea.
future independent artists, because we see the way that music is going. It's going more indie, so we need a way to protect ourselves. I mean, I'm responsible, so I have all those things.
Right, right, yeah.
Got kids, and I understand it's necessary to have those, but younger artists that might not have that same level of literacy, you know, it, I think
It's
that,
sad.
yeah, it definitely sucks, and we do need to do something so that we can stop saying R.I.P. to all these guys.
Right. I agree. I agree.
I wanted to go back a little bit to you're talking about the sound that you've kind of gravitated toward. So Phonics is someone that you work with a lot, and is did that play into that? I mean, is that why? I mean, how did you guys like hook up? Like,
Okay,
start working together? Is that something that influenced that at all?
good question, and it'll help people understand the sound. So, when I met Phonics, it was in 2013. I was spending like Fourth of July weekend with my family. We had checked out the fireworks and all of that, and I just remember it being around that time. So maybe a day after the fourth, or 2 days after, I get an email, and he's real polite, saying, "Hey, I was just listening to your album, Beautiful Loser. I like to work with you. Here's some beats you could check out." And he sent me a Bandcamp link. The cool thing what he did though was it was his beats, but his Bandcamp link was remixes. So
Mm.
he's famous, like he's famous for making like a crazy remix. So I'm listening to the songs, and they're like classic golden era hip hop. Like he's remixing Mobb Deep. He's remixing Biggie. He's remixing Wu Tang, which he's famous for.
Right.
He's it's just it was perfect. And I immediately hit him back like, "Yo, I want to work with you." So he sent me the same project back with the vocals off of it, and it was so easy because I had already heard these songs, and I was riding around listening to, like, 90s golden era hip hop at that time.
Hmm.
And I'm rooted in nostalgia, so it really touched me. It was like, how does this guy know what I'm thinking? It was like he was almost like it was a message. It was too much of a coincidence. So I said, I'm gonna work. And the first record I recorded was like Street Saga, the day after he sent the beats. That was the first record, and that record would become one of the records on Return to the Golden Era. We were done in like 2.5 weeks with that album because I was so inspired by the music, and we was listening, again to like 90s golden era hip hop at that time, and you know, it was just like I said, just too much of a coincidence. I still can't believe that it happened till this day, and we knocked out an album in 2.5 weeks. Like, I did all of the rapping. I mixed my vocals. I sent him the waves. He mixed the beats, and I mean, it was up on the internet, and it changed our lives. And
It's
it was
incredible.
just, yeah, it was like, seriously, it was like a gift from the universe. Like, you guys need to meet. He's all the way in Portland, Maine. I'm in Virginia, and I'm actually thinking at that time, like, things are not going well with music. It's kind of slow. I'm tired of, the regional scene, and, just going to North Carolina to do shows or different parts of my state. I wanted to branch out and be heard further. And I was just like, I'm getting old. I'm getting tired of doing it. But he just, like, gave me a new life. And we haven't stopped since. Like,
No.
and it's almost a decade. Like, so shouts out to Phonics. It's my brother, from another mother, man. He's like can read my mind. We finish each other's sentences.
That's cool. I like that. I like that. I was going to ask you. You guys have a documentary, right? Am I
Yes.
tripping? Because I know I remember SP when we did the other interview, and I was talking about I said I saw your guys' movie. This is who I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was totally wrong about that who we was talking about, but it was your document. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
remember now.
we do have a
Underdogs.
Yeah,
Underdog,
underdogs. Yeah.
right? And it's directed by Teo Frank, and right now people can stream that on Red Bull TV. Is no subscription required. You could just go to redbull.tv, search Underdogs, check it out. You know, send the links out. We had a nice run on Netflix from 2019 to just 2022,
That's
and
where I saw it. Yeah.
yeah. So Netflix is always changing their content. So the license they had was for 3 years, which was great for us. 3 years
Right.
of exposure, and now to just live in a different place, and eventually it might live at university. Who knows?
Who
We would
knows?
love to get in the academic
It
space.
it it was great. I liked it. I
Thank you.
really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's about our journey, and
Yeah.
our choices to, stay true to our sound, which is like jazzy, underground hip hop. Again,
Yeah.
rooted in the nostalgia of Guru and DJ Premier, Pete Rock and CL, so
Yeah.
forth and so
Hmm.
on.
Yeah,
So
and
And what I really loved about the documentary is everyone was so honest.
Yeah. Just up
It,
front.
it's
Just
yeah, it
yeah.
was
Just
really
up front.
upfront and honest, and that's rare.
Well, thank you. As my wife would say, authenticity speaks. I mean, it's a lot easier to be yourself than it is to constantly put on, to
right.
constantly go
Right.
out and wear a mask or, have to be in character for every moment, that the cameras are on or
Right.
somebody's recording you speak. It was a lot easier for A1 to be Antoine and that person to be interchangeable, just so I don't have to,
Yeah.
put on these different hats and do these different things when I'm in different scenarios. That's why I rap monotone. That's why my music voice that I use is my speaking voice. Really,
Yeah.
like, I I just think it's easier. It's just
I,
so much easier just to be me.
It works
yeah,
for
and
you.
that's the only way to be. I think. It gets exhausting. I think. You see people when they act a different way, and then there's something else somewhere else. It has to be exhausting.
Yeah, I think
That weight, having to make sure you always got the right, hats, like you say, at the wherever you're at. I mean, I couldn't do it.
And
yeah,
it
neither
doesn't
did
help that I'm a horrible liar with a horrible memory, so I can't
Me
remember what
too,
lie I told. So I just
girl.
refrain from it because I suck
I,
at lying.
I've been me 51 years. I'm not going to change now. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Yeah, but I really enjoyed that documentary. I liked it a lot. I remember it now.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
in that, I think it was the first part of that. You said you used to go for walks with your aunt, right? And you would do, was it like walking freestyle? I mean, do you still do stuff like that? Like when you're just out walking around, or
you know what? Now I put my earpods in and listen to beats and just kind of sketch out songs. Like, so when I'm walking, I try to work. You
You're
know,
working,
yeah,
yeah.
right?
walking is like working for me because I'm always just, you're paying so much attention to your trail, your surroundings, that you can actually think and you can have
Hmm.
clear, concise thoughts. Your problems are left wherever you came from, because you're walking and you looking at the surroundings and taking life in. And I think that when we living and breathing and doing physical things, out there in the earth, we can be more productive mentally because you connected to where you are mentally and physically and spiritually. So that's why I like you know moving and doing things.
Right.
It's constant motion from the time that I get up. Um, I just, if I'm sitting too long, I'm stagnant. I need to be doing something. You know what I mean? So we got eternity to sit down, lay down, whatever. You know what I mean? So let's get it
Yeah.
while we here and get out there and be productive and make the most of it every day.
I
Right.
agree.
Um, you guys are coming up on Don't Sleep Records. It's 10 years next year, right?
Well, the idea is 10 years next year. We actually launched the label 2014, but you know, I would definitely say that as soon as we put music out, the universe had already decided that we
Yeah.
was to do this and we was gonna have a label and everything. So it would be the 10th year anniversary of our first album together, which is Return to the Golden Era. So that's definitely symbolic because I
Hmm.
who would have thought I'd be here now, 10 years later,
Right.
going on 10 years later, talking about hip hop and still being active when I was thinking about leaving and just kind of spectating.
Yeah. Are
What?
you are
So
you guys planning anything like special for that 10th year, or
We
any
would like
merch
to
or?
tour. We would like to tour. We would like to
There
tour.
you go.
Nice.
Obviously, I'm always going to take advantage of opportunities to utilize storytelling in our products, and so we definitely would do it something for the 10th anniversary that's special because it's part of our story, and
Right.
I'd be remiss not to take an opportunity to capitalize on a product that we can have a good story behind. But touring is what we like to do. We like to get everybody together and get out there and do some shows and just kind of like a thank you to the people that have been following us for this long. Because now is some people that were kids when we started that are now adults. That
Mm.
so it's amazing to see people that were listening when they were like teenagers and now they got jobs and
You kind of raised them.
responsibilities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's beautiful, you know what I mean? And it's crazy because I see families come and it's like a father was listening, put his son on, and his son is still listening to me. I had
mhm.
that
Nice.
happen to us in Germany,
Yeah.
so that was beautiful, or kids bringing their parents to the concert and their parents going crazy. A young lady brought her dad to a show, and and he just came up to me. He was like, I had no idea, but this is like one of the best nights of my life, and that was in Paris. So
Wow.
yeah, I've had so many different experiences with people from all backgrounds and walks of life and ages that you know have been listening and still are listening today, and some kids that are listening, that's coming up because of their parents or their
Yeah.
older brothers and sisters. So it's awesome. It's awesome.
So I have a
So
question
let
since we were talking about phonics, right? And you guys touring and all that. But let me ask you this. What do you think the pros and cons are of being in an interracial group if there are any? If there
Oh, it's
are any cons, there
nah,
could be pros or no cons or no pros and cons. Like, I don't know.
right.
Just
Nah,
curious.
I don't think it's any like when you look at the history of this industry and the documented history of hip hop, it's always been a multicultural phenomenon, where people from
Right.
all different backgrounds come together, people that identify with multitude of races come together. Hip hop unified the world, in my opinion, more than religion or politics
I agree.
could ever. So I don't think it's any cons or anything about it. It's
That's
just
dope.
I make music with my brother. I don't even see him, in that way. It's just that's just phonics,
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
And I like that answer. You know what I mean? And you're
so
right. It was a multiracial, a lot of different cultures that came together. So
yeah, yeah. I mean, you go all the way back to Debbie Harry,
yeah, exactly.
and,
Yeah.
and Rapture and what she
Yeah.
did
Five
and how
Five
she
Freddy.
used her celebrity to help push the culture forward,
Right.
at
mhm.
that time. So I'm also like an oral historian of this. Like I took a lot
Yeah.
of time and as a super fan and I fan out, and
I
watch.
I just watched that video too. You remember that video to that Five Freddy. You know what
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean? I just watched
Gotcha.
it
yeah. That's wild
like it's
style.
wild, right? I
Yeah,
like
that's
it.
wild
Yeah.
style.
That's
Yeah,
my era, man. I was like, yeah,
yeah,
remember
yeah,
that.
yeah. And you know, she comes from one of the greatest punk bands
Right.
ever. You know,
Hmm.
coming
Ever.
from Blondie, but crossed over into hip hop, bubbling
Yeah.
when hip hop was in its still in its infancy. You know, you
Right.
talk about that movie came out in like '83, so that probably was bubbling. She probably was in that scene since the late '70s. You know, in its
Right.
Hmm.
infancy. So respect to Debbie Harry, respect to Rick
Right.
Rubin, Beastie Boys, everybody who came from a different walk of life and participated in this culture. You know, all of the Latino cats from, you know, Steady
Orale.
Crew, you know,
Yeah.
Crazy Legs, everybody who ever participated in the culture.
Yeah.
Respect. You know what I mean? Like hip hop is one of the things that just doesn't have barriers or walls.
It's great, isn't
Yeah,
it, that people in India are rapping like there's big artists there. I mean, when it first started, it was not in the concept of that it would reach all the way across all through the world, but it has, and it's amazing how it just brought lots of people together.
well, hip hop runs at the same almost like so people don't understand the connection and the vibration of rap music. So
Right.
hip hop or rap music, because hip hop is the culture. Let's
Mm-hmm.
talk about the music. That's rap
Music.
music, right? Classic hip hop is going to be at beats per minute of your average heart rate.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
So however your heart rate is, if you sitting down and your heart rate is running at 88, you know, 80, 80, 84, that's classic. That's the boom bap. That's right there. You
Well,
know,
that's where
you
mine's
up
at.
moving around and dancing,
Yeah.
and you up at 97, 98. You know what I mean? That's also hip hop. You know, hip
Yeah.
hop can go that high, and it's at your comfortable heart rate. That's why we nod and agree.
Yeah.
You
We
know,
do
we nod
not.
and agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I like
So
that.
yeah, so that's the essence of why it connects so many people, because it's actually touching your heart, touching your chakras in a way that
Right.
it's deep in your subconscious. You know what I'm
Your
saying?
vibrations and all
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We all originate from one continent. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That
Exactly.
science tells us that. So that drum that comes off of that
Hmm.
continent, that's permeates through hip hop today, is why we all can identify with that, and that's why hip hop has absorbed every other genre of music and became pop. I think that people thought it wasn't going to become pop, but hip hop
Right.
now is the highest selling genre of music globally. Worldwide.
Yeah.
Pop stars, and rap stars.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
Yeah,
popular is all it means. It's
yeah,
popular.
yeah.
So,
Next thing you know, Taylor Swift gonna drop some bars, man. If she hasn't already. I'm just saying, she collaborates
yeah.
with
You
rappers,
never. Yeah. You never
but if you
know.
listen to R&B, R&B is hip
Y-
hop. It has a hip
Yeah.
hop twang to it. What
Right.
happened to rock and roll? Rock and roll,
Road.
rock and roll got absorbed by hip
Yeah.
hop,
Hip hop.
and it
Yeah.
became alternative rock with like Linkin Park, with like
Yeah.
Mike Shinoda rapping
Limp
along with,
Biscuit.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying, Limp Bizkit.
Hip
You know what I
biscuit.
mean? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
cool. So hip hop basically absorbed everything, even country,
Even country. I was gonna
even
say
country.
that. Yeah. Yeah. You're
So
right.
so the arc of hip hop is the trajectory has always been going up. It's never really gone down.
Right.
So I think that it was always meant to absorb that, because the roots are in another popular form of music, which was disco,
Mm-hmm.
break beats, funk,
Funk.
soul. That's
Yep.
the foundation
Hmm.
right there, and it just absorbed everything. So we got to give it up for hip hop one time.
Hey,
All
Make it
I
right.
love it.
so
I
much
love it,
better,
man.
so much
Yeah.
better.
I need to. I'm gonna get my dog out of because he's crying, and then I'm gonna go to the bathroom again. I mean, I drank that cranberry juice too fast. I'm old. I can't hold it no more.
I won't hold it against you.
So, I since they mentioned phonics, you mentioned a point before meeting Phonic, that you were going to stop making music. What what prompted that? Because we hear that a lot from artists, that there becomes a point where they are going to stop making music.
At that point, I was doing, trying to pursue my dream for so long, and I didn't feel like things were transpiring in the way that I had envisioned. And I was getting to a point of exhaustion. I was a parent. I had two kids at the time, two sons at the time,
Mm-hmm.
um, newly married. I was only married for a few years at that point. And, I had a job that was demanding, that needed my attention. And it was just like jumping through hoops to participate, to be a
Mm-hmm.
part of it, spending my own money. So I was making more of a sacrifice than the investment, because obviously that money is coming from somewhere else. So all of those things, just as an adult trying to make real decisions about my life, I was definitely contemplating maybe slowing down, maybe stop trying to pursue it, because I didn't feel like I was getting the light shined on me. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I had, little sparks of success, little sparks of successes. And this is my time when I'm working with my brother Chameleon Beats. We working on different projects.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we shopping them, getting rejected, coming back to the table, releasing independently. But it's a lot of ups and downs at that time, and things on the internet weren't so, how can I say this? The internet was available, but it wasn't so efficient at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Things were not as built out as they are right now. And I think that as the technology got more accessible, it benefited artists like myself, because
Mm-hmm.
everybody was becoming more accustomed to being online and getting on social media. People, social media existed. It existed for a long time. So I'm not trying to reinvent that timeline, but I'm just thinking like people are really heavy online by 2013,
Yeah.
2014. I mean, everybody is really locked in, and it's not something so brand new anymore. It's like commonplace. So it's very established, and that really helped. That really helped. So having more people with access to a really operational internet made it so
Mm-hmm.
we had visibility and we could compete, and that's what we needed. That it was the perfect recipe. Again, Phonics just had timing, excellent timing, and it also aligned with me feeling a certain way, and he was a different direction from the
Mm-hmm.
music that I was making before, and it felt right. So glad it happened.
Yeah, I avoided social media till sometime around 2016, 2017. And I think I only started social media because the kids were graduating and they were going to different colleges. And it was just a way for us to keep up with each other. Um, so, how did you meet Phonics?
Everything at first was online. He just hit me up. I started recording immediately because his music was that good. He
Mm-hmm.
reached out first, and then eventually we had a few sessions in Virginia where he came down, and we really got to link up and hang out, and that became something that he did, frequently when we needed to make music, and
Mm-hmm.
our second album, my follow up album, Knowledge Itself, we did a lot of that together, in the same room, in the same
Mm-hmm.
studio. So that was pretty awesome, to have that story. We also did a photo shoot at the studio, or in around studio we were working at. So we were just kind of just trying to put together um, enough content that when we put the music out, we had a story to tell. And I'm glad that we got to link up those times, and we did, and make the
Hmm.
music that we made, um, making history.
So let me ask you: Is do you prefer to work in the studio with someone, or the emailing back and forth?
I actually rather work by myself. Um, I've been in studios most of my life, so I don't get the
Hmm.
same awe factor that I used to when I first walked in the studio. At 17 years old, it's not
Hmm.
the same type of, oh, I'm here. I'm comfortable at home, so I can record myself, or I can record in the comfort of my own home with my fam here, or we can go somewhere mobile. I'm not opposed to, going on vacation and bringing the equipment with me and recording while I'm out somewhere else to just have a different inspiration, because we can have a mobile studio set up anywhere. Basically, we've been doing it for so long. It's just part of what we do now, and understanding sound and frequencies and acoustics. I could walk in a room and just start talking and know if I can record in that room or not, just based
Yeah.
on the way that my voice reflects, throughout the room. So yeah, I prefer to just record with the people that need to be there
Oh,
versus, having a studio of people around me. So home base or a mutual place that we pick is probably where to happen now.
oh, okay, cool.
So, I mean, as an indie, I mean, do you have like advice for anyone else that's coming up, or as independent artists on how to like succeed in that lane, and that as not on labels or anything like huge labels?
Yes, I think that, you know, first, staying consistent and sticking to your plan, being original, all that is important. But the hardest thing to do is to stick to what you believe in, especially if you believe that it works. Too many times people get the first rejections, and then they turn around and they abandon a sound that they believed in for something else that they believe is going to get them recognized faster. I don't believe in that. I believe that you have to own what it is that you're doing, that you have to embrace it and stand behind it 110% until you fail enough times where you like, okay, obviously this doesn't work. It must be
Right,
bad. But if you believe that it's good, I think that there's a lot of music out there today that's not great, but the artists behind that music believe in it so much that they sell it to an audience and they believe in it.
right,
So, that self-esteem is huge to have, being stubborn is huge, a huge factor. But also having some sense of flexibility. Don't be so stubborn that you blow off opportunities. Be stubborn enough to stand on your principles. You know what I mean? That you believe in the things that you believe in, keeping your moral compass in check, following your conscience, but also being stubborn enough to know when somebody is not telling you the truth, when somebody's just trying to down you, or, one up you, or
right,
when ego isn't, trying to bruise your ego. Just, you got to stay the course. You can't vacate. You can't get off once you on the track, stay on your track, stay on your path, and don't deviate, because
right.
it's all about that level of consistency and belief in what you're doing.
Right. And and going on that, I think a lot of people get so caught up in wanting to succeed that they give up certain parts of their music, like the ownership and the publish and all that stuff that goes on. I mean, how important do you think that is, even for anyone, when it comes to their art?
Okay, I think that I think that someone is gonna make the decision that they're gonna make no matter what. So if they're in a desperate financial situation, they're gonna make a bad decision because they're in a desperate financial situation. So the decision is already made. I think what artists do is incorporate too many people in that decision making process. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
if you know that you will take a bad deal for $1 million, why do you need a lawyer to negotiate taking a bad deal for $1 million if you're gonna tell a lawyer I'm gonna take the deal anyway? Just sign the contract. Take the bad deal for the million. Don't break him off with 15%. That's just stupid. If you know what you want to do already, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that people get into this game and it's just a game of checking off boxes. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? Like, and it shouldn't be that. It should be more or less doing what you want to do um, at all times. So I think that people gonna make the decision that they're gonna make based on their situation. I don't necessarily think that is people out there that are super naive and just like a deer with headlight. Nah, I don't really think that. I think that some younger artists may get taken advantage of, like some kids that come in if they don't have parental guidance or adult role models that can help guide them, then they can get sucked in. But adults are gonna do what they need to do to eat, pay
Right.
rent, have a car, have shelter. So you know, it's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
I agree. I
The
agree.
principles
Yeah.
don't mean nothing when you're hungry. The
Exactly.
contract don't mean nothing when you're hungry.
When you're hungry, you're gonna do
The
what you
kids,
gotta do.
exactly. So I
You
don't,
know.
I don't sit on the soapbox and down people for making bad decisions because we all do
Right.
that. You know what I'm saying? There's people out here check to check, knowing them title loans and all of that is illegal. But they out there going to
Yeah.
get the payday loans. Like, oh my God, this interest rate is so high, but I
Mm-hmm.
need this money. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They
There's,
know.
I mean, there's people doing worse than that because they
Right,
gotta
right.
eat and don't got no other way but to do that.
Right. So it's the
You know.
same thing. It's the same thing with hip hop. You know what I mean? I believe that it's the same principles with music. In the music industry, your situation gonna dictate the decisions that you make for your
Right.
career. Period. Period. You
Right.
don't
So
see
I
artists with money already making bad deals.
Do
They get
you
the best
think?
deals.
Do you think there's a lot of yes men in this game? Like when the artist, okay, like you were talking about, there's some bad music, and the artist believe in his music.
Hmm.
So then he has an audience he could sell that music to because they believe in it. But do
Hmm.
you think there's also some yes men that know that music ain't good, but are hyping up the artist to
Um.
believe it?
Yes. I
Yes,
mean,
right?
it's always gonna be people that are worried about their paycheck. They get paid to say yes. That's why some people have certain people around them that
Yeah,
they get paid to be yes men. So yeah, if your money and your livelihood depends on saying yes, I mean, be my guest. Say
I
yes,
don't.
until they stop paying you to tell them the truth. I mean,
I
till they
don't know
stop
if I could
paying you
do
to
that.
tell the truth.
That's the next T-shirt, A1. Say yes, be my
Say
guest. That's the T-shirt.
I mean, I think that I can't be critical because I don't
right.
know what somebody's going through or why they sit there and let their homeboy make bad music. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But a lot of it is due to livelihood. Pardon me. Allergy season.
I know. Me
Terrible.
too.
Yes.
It's bad.
Yeah, it is so terrible right now.
Yeah, and I work in a warehouse that's full of dust,
dust.
so it really messes up my allergies and real bad.
Oh,
Hi,
we
Okay.
have
A1.
we have a lovely, lovely surprise.
What? Mm.
Buh, 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 buh.
Hi! I'm so
Greetings and
excited.
salutations. Woo! Salute Tiff the gift. Women's Appreciation. Women's International.
Happy that month.
This is dope. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
This is
guys. I
amazing.
appreciate it.
Does
So how's
anybody have a
everybody
question?
doing
How
this?
are
I'm
hey,
so
how are
I'm
you,
so
Tiff?
shocked I can't even speak.
It's
How you
good to see
doing?
all you guys. I'm doing okay. I can't
Yeah,
complain.
yeah, blessed today, right? Just to see another day, we're blessed. I think. SP about to cry. She
Oh
is
I think she
wow,
crying.
is correct.
really? Wow.
Why are we
Yeah,
Okay, I
crying?
didn't expect this. Wow.
yeah.
Me
Hey,
either. Why are we crying?
That's Tiff, you the
because
gift.
it's amazing to have you on here, and she's just super happy about it.
Hey, well, guess what? That makes me happy. Please don't do that. It makes me
Come on,
happy and
girl,
kind
ask your
of.
questions. Come on.
It's nice to meet you.
We have to interrupt this broadcast for crying right
I
now.
know.
Wow.
You it's nice to
I
meet
can't
you
even
too.
mute
This is
myself. What is going on?
Women's Appreciation Month. I am so happy. I'm so
I'm happy to
happy.
be here.
Here at Powerful Impact, we make
Oh,
dreams come true.
Good
I
So
Lord.
love
I'll,
it.
I'll ask you something.
Yeah, I'll let you go first, Maria.
Yeah,
Let me get
you
myself
got
together.
you got a new project coming out. Anything recent? Because I know you had something drop a little while back, but I'm wondering if you got anything else coming out.
I'm just working right now, kind of recording. I did a few features, so yeah, I'm working on
Mhm.
another project. It's slow motion, but slow motion is better than no motion. So
Right,
I'm kind of
right.
taking my time.
And sometimes taking your time is good, right? I mean, because you want it to come out right. You want to take your time with it. I get it.
And
Well,
anybody knows me knows I'm always taking my time, which is not always a good thing.
it's worth it though once it comes out. The wait, you know what I mean? So
I
yeah, no
hope so.
complaints from me. No
Can I?
I
complaints.
hope so. I
Go ahead,
appreciate it.
Never.
Am I all right? I want to ask a question, and since I have the two, I want to call this one of the first hip hop couples that
Hmm.
I've met. Underdog slash underground hip hop, boom bap hip hop, independent. What is because all I know, right? This is my naivety here. All I know is Papoose, Remy Ma, right? The Jay-Z, the Beyonce. I want
Right.
to hear about this first family hip hop here with the first one of the first documentaries that I've seen. Can we talk about? It's a three-part question. Can we talk about like married life, family life, and I guess raising children life? I don't even know what my question is, but
It.
I haven't
How
had a
about
couple on here, so I just want to. Can
how
we
about
start with whatever? Sorry. Mhm.
all of those with having a career? How hard is that to manage all of those three? Uh, that Neville asked you
You can tell
about.
we're amateurs here. Pardon us,
Yeah.
okay?
No,
We're
I
shocked.
don't think you, I don't think you amateurs at all. When it comes to the family, like having a balance, I mean, I, I'd be lying if I tell you it wasn't something I need. Sometimes, I mean, you get tired sometimes, but I'm the type of person that needs things to do and stuff to occupy my time. So, I mean, it comes with its challenges, but at the end of the day, I think my husband A1 used to say this all the time: love supersedes. So when you have like a huge amount of love and support in your household, from everybody, from the kids, and everything is reciprocated throughout, happiness is kind of easy to find. So, in that happiness, it kind of overshadows all the extra hard work or when you feel like you're too tired to keep moving. That support is huge. So, in saying that, and make sure everybody or anybody listening, support your folks. And I didn't catch my friend's name when I first came on, but she made me feel great today. So
SP. Her
so
name is Shawana. We call her SP though.
SP, thank you
Yeah.
so much. You have truly made my day. All of you have. But yeah, just being a good support system and having it reciprocated is huge. So I hope that we find it in ourselves as humans, all throughout. Everybody on this call and anybody listening, you know, be that support system. It makes things a lot easier.
Right. I love that. And I imagine it is challenging at times because both of you are working. Then you're trying to handle the family, trying to hand also self care, like self time for yourself. because everybody needs me time. I find I need that a lot. Um, so I imagine it is challenging, and you guys seem like when we watched the documentary, when I watched it, and then listening to your guys' music, it just seems like you got it all under control. Like it's
Well,
just fits so perfectly. That's what it
They're
what
like, yes,
what we
it's
see.
acting. It's
But
movie.
yeah,
but I
yeah.
mean, I imagine it is challenging. It's got to be. It's got to be.
Oh, it is. And no, we don't have it all together. Uh, we
I
don't have it all
appreciate the
together.
honesty. Yeah.
But that's the fun part, right? Like you
Right.
spend your whole life trying to get it together. Like every day we live so that that last day we can actually become the people we really want to be. God willing, we
Right.
live that long, right?
Right.
So the challenge in it and the it not being a perfect day every day, that's the whole part of life. So I guess it's just
It
living.
is.
I don't think any of us are gonna have it all together.
Right. I always tell, like I used to tell my kids, the only guarantee in life we have is death. Everything else is a lesson. We have to learn as we go, and sometimes some lessons are harder than others.
Striving for
Absolutely.
perfection each and every day. Striving for perfection.
Right.
But thanks for asking that question though. That was a good one.
Hmm. Go ahead, SP. Get your.
So,
It's,
um, the reason for the tears, I don't passed out was um that song meant so much to me. Um, I
That you
just
nearly passed out.
yeah, that song meant so much to me. I don't think sometimes um that artists realize that even as they're getting their feelings out, how much it touches other people. Can you kind of talk about what brought Passed Out into fruition? Because it really changed my perspective on a lot of things.
Well, I mean, for me, like I had again, if you did get a chance to check the documentary or even just hear some of the things I say, I lost my mother a little bit before I wrote that song, and I remember trying to push it and write a song about. I mean, because that's your instinct, right? You're an artist, and you lose something you really, really love or somebody close to you. The first thing you're thinking about when you go back to grab the pen is to write about that, right? So I went through, I don't know, I don't know how many songs trying to find the right one. And I remember telling A, it wasn't working for me. Like I just couldn't find the right words because I think the loss was so great. Um, so he was like, don't push it, just let it come to you. And eventually I was right. And I think I wrote that maybe a year later, something like that, maybe a year and a half later. But I heard a beat that A's cousin made on Instagram. And I remember sitting there writing a whole song off a 15-second clip because that was when
wow.
Instagram only lets you have 15 seconds.
Hmm.
And then I called him and, I was like, hey, you want to give that one up? And he said, it's yours. So,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember the 15-second clips. It's a lot different now.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's where that song came from. That was a great loss for me. And just, I tried to put every way I felt into words. Um, wasn't the most complex thing I've ever written, but it was the most pure, I think. So
The most
thank you for
heartfelt.
listening.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I felt it, and I played it um, for my mom because she had just lost her mom, and it was a bonding moment, and you brought that about, and I never thought I'd have a chance to say thank you.
Mm.
So that is why the
Thank
tears, because
thank
it
you.
really it meant everything to us.
Yeah, well, that means everything to me. And that was one that was heartfelt that I hoped, could touch somebody else. And it was so personal that to hear that perspective from you is awesome. Almost overwhelming. Because that's one where I didn't, when you write a lot of times you try to write for your audience, that's when I totally wrote, because that's what I felt and that's what I wanted to write. So I'm glad it resonated in that way. And tell mom, is mom still around?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Tell her
Yeah,
Tiff said peace and thank you.
she's in her 80s now. So
That's
and she lost her
that's even
mom.
better.
Yeah, she lost her mom when her mom was in her 80s, and it was a hard time, but that song was everything. And I really want to thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm humbled. So thank you. I can't even say that you're welcome, right? Because what you're saying probably means way more to me than the song meant to you. So thank you.
So, okay, I have a question I want to ask. So, I'm gonna ask this to A1. So, Women's Appreciation Month, right? Your wife says that night, if you're performing together in Europe, okay, for the first time, was like going out on your first date. Does it feel like it every time, or like, do you guys like, how was like the specialness of that, and are you guys like, I just want to hear from his perspective what it was like.
um,
No
from
pressure.
for me, it's always been music. Like I'm one of her biggest fans. So from the time that I heard her rap, I knew that she was gonna be around. Because I heard something special. And then
Right.
when I got to meet her, the first place we went was just to the studio. Like that was literally like the
Mhm.
first date. So every time we out doing shows or overseas or anything that we doing, it always brings us back to how we got together, why we got together, and that would never change. That's the bond. I tell people all
Right.
the time, hip hop gave me everything. You know what I mean? Like it gave me a career, wife, kids, everything that I love in this world came through this art form, this culture. So I'm in debt to the game forever, I guess.
So is it like you guys are bringing, let's just call it, we'll say hip hop, like your new baby into the world when you guys perform together, like, you know what I mean,
Or drop a new album.
when you
Um,
drop a new, yeah, you know.
um, you know what? We need to put out another project together. That's like a goal.
Yes,
To
please.
do an album together. It is so necessary. It makes so much sense that it has to happen. We did it before, but it was under speed. It was just poor circumstances surrounding it. It still was incredible, but I want to see what happens when we have the time um
Right.
to do it, and not constraints of time to like put something together because we're trying to meet a deadline to do this and do that amongst everything that else that we have going on. So now we have nothing but time. So I definitely would like to do that because it just makes sense. We live together, we could tour together. Everybody could,
Right.
you
I,
know.
I
So
I think it makes sense because you got, yeah, for those reasons. Plus, I just think it would be a real special project,
I haven't heard
especially,
anything like that before.
I would love that a
I haven't
yeah,
lot.
heard a project like that before. I think right? Am I wrong? Or has there been a project like that? Like Papoose and Remy Ma never
Papoose
did like a
and
whole.
well, well,
Remy,
well,
no,
well,
Did
Jean
they?
they've done
Grey and
some.
her
Jean
Jean
Grey,
Yes,
Grey.
yeah,
yeah,
yes,
Yeah.
that's
Jean
right.
Grey and her husband.
yeah, they did something. It may have been other
But he
other.
wasn't rhyming a lot, right? He was like more producing. No, actually, no, it wasn't. You're right. You're
Nah,
No,
right.
nah. It was a
no,
full black.
it
Beyonce and
was a
Jay
full.
Z.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mm,
where have I
I
been now?
don't.
Now I'm bugging.
yeah. But you
Sean,
know,
wasn't there one with Sean P's?
They did a song together. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a song
All I'm hearing
together.
right now is reunited and it feels so good. I don't know
Ashford and
why I'm hearing
Simpson.
that for some weird
it,
reason.
Do you remember Ashford and Simpson? Solid,
As a rock,
solid
rock,
as
rock,
a
rock,
rock.
rock.
You know.
it, there's been so many groups, and Love has made so much good music out there that we
Right.
could be here all night just talking about the people who made contributions. But I feel like it makes sense to me because my fastest growing song is with my wife. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like so my top song is with Deflo, but the song that grew the fastest and is, really racking up numbers is the song with my wife. It's coming in at number two, and then we dropped that 2 years after the
Yeah.
record with Deflo. So I think that that's another reason why it makes sense when you see that song. Like people like it, they want to hear that. They're telling me because numbers don't lie. I'm a
Yeah.
numbers guy. I like if I see it on paper or a computer screen and it's like
On
ding
the
ding
check.
ding, yeah, like
Or on the check, yeah.
yeah, like
Sometimes those numbers lie though. The check number, like man, I'd be like, I
nah,
know, I worked
I've been
hard.
there.
I know I worked longer than this. Like, yeah, but
Nah, I've
yeah,
been there, but it makes sense, and I think that
Yeah,
we can bring
my
it up to
checks
the
lie on
occasion.
every first and 16th.
yeah, mine's too, girl. I'm telling you, every week
That's a lie.
I'd be like, wow, all this taxes taken out. Like, good God,
FICA.
man,
Look,
working
yep,
for the man. That's it.
yeah.
So it's Women's History Month. As a female artist, is maneuvering through the industry, how different is it for you moving through the industry?
You know what? I think there's always going to be like that little gap in, you know, I don't know, be it fame, acceptance, pay, even as it is in any other, sector. There's always gonna be that. But I mean, we've cultivated an environment to where I feel free to make the music I want to make, which is why it's great that the independent labels are there now. It
Yeah,
feels a lot less stressful than it did years ago, because I mean, again, we've been able to kind of cultivate an environment to where we have creative control and we can make enough music. And we always discuss the fact that there's an audience for everything. So as long as you can find that niche audience or what have you, and the people that continue to support you, you have no choice but to grow and feel loved in what you do. And I'm so passionate about music. My husband and I, one of our best friends, Kaveen, he always calls me a part-time rapper, right? Because I pick it up.
yeah,
I write every day, but I kind of pick it up slowly and when I want to and when I'm feeling it, and I love that about it. So I'm
yeah.
always feeling good because it's like I think somebody made that analogy earlier, but the music is like my baby. So,
Mhm.
I'm happy in it, I'm confident in it, and being a female, it is a bit different
It
in
is.
the way, yeah, in the way you're accepted or not accepted sometimes in hip hop, and like the preconceived notions about what women want out of a career and things like that. Stuff like that is always going to come up, but be steadfast in my morals and beliefs, and just kind of rock off that and stay happy and practice positivity, I guess. you know
Yeah, that can be challenging at times, but we got to do it because our mental is important. Keeping it positive and trying to maintain a healthy mindset, and it's hard for women. Sometimes, well, a lot of times. I mean, like I look at artists like Cardi and Meg, and no shame to them because hey, they're doing their thing if that's what they want to do. But I always find that in hip hop, they want to make women like it's almost like they got to be like that. And I really appreciate the independent side that you guys are doing because I really just have a lot of respect for you guys standing your ground and doing it how you want to do it. And
yeah.
just
And
sticking to your
mostly,
morals. I like that.
and
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 mostly,
oh, I'm sorry, SB.
oh no, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and being a woman sometimes it does get frustrating, in conversation, or the natural frustrating part of, if I'm standing with A1, or if I'm standing with Phonics or Deflo or someone, someone like that. I find that the communication piece is kind of hard sometimes, because
Mhm.
people will send messages through A, or when we're in a crowd, they'll automatically assume that that's who they need to speak with about me.
Right.
Like they're your handlers or something.
Exactly.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right,
Gosh.
Or
right, right.
like
Ugh.
you can't handle it yourself type of
Oh
thing.
yeah,
That's how I would feel. I'm like, what, they think I can't handle this myself?
yeah. But you get over it, because then
Hmm.
once you hop on that stage, and I think also your demeanor, being assertive and just
Yeah.
demanding your respect, and letting people know that you're not letting that guard down for anything,
Yeah.
or
Amen.
compromising who you are. And as long as you keep that stance, I think we're gonna be good as women. And I love the direction hip hop is going in for
Me
women,
too.
Mhm.
especially, with underground hip hop. We really
Yes.
leading crowds right now, and wearing our crowns on straight at all times.
I love it. I do. I love it. I love it. I like what Shay Nora's doing,
Yeah,
I like
Sarah.
what you're doing, Ciroc. I
I got
mean,
my
I
Ciroc
just
shirt
love it.
on.
yeah, Cyrock is.
Yeah. Hey, I like
Yeah.
that. I'm wearing Scarface today.
Boom.
I got Scarface today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we love face too.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Now
SP.
this is Tony Montana Scarface, not the other Scarface. But I love Face. Yeah, I love Scarface.
Brand.
Yeah,
So,
SP.
thanks for
A1, is
asking,
it
though,
different?
SP.
Is it difficult when those kind of situations happen, where they approach you and ask about her as
Um,
if?
it's not difficult. It's annoying.
Hmm.
It's
That's
annoying
a
because
great
I'm like,
answer.
she's right
That's
there.
difficult.
Ask her. It's annoying to assume that I make decisions for her, or anyone makes decisions for another person. You know what I mean? So that's what's annoying, because it's an archaic mentality, and it's a testament to the fact that we have evolved in a lot of places, but in a lot of different parts of the world, and even here, right here in the U.S., the thought process of some males is like 50 years ago. And I just wish that people can get up to speed on things, because if you ask me about speaking to my wife, then you're stagnating me, because that's a question that you didn't have to ask me. So you wasted 10 seconds of my life, when you could just go directly to her. I can get a lot done in 10 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, I can sign a check. I can, tell somebody a price, maybe respond to an email that quick. Okay, yes, no, whatever. So I just don't like people wasting my personal time for things that they could speak to her directly about, And it's never nothing serious, because serious people don't approach you like that. So that's another reason why it's annoying.
Right.
Serious people gonna approach the situation correctly. So it's always something that's not serious that will go through me, as if I'm the vessel, or like Never was saying, her handler. And that's just not what it is. And I hope that people listening take notes, and other people out there take notes. If you need something from Tiff, she has 2 ears and a mouth to respond to you, so she can listen to you and hear what you have to say, and she can respond to you. You know what I mean? So ask her, whether it's a verse when you want to feature, whether it's, you want to produce a record for her, whatever you want to do, reach out to her, and
View.
know that it's going to cost the same price that you will be willing to pay me. So please get that correct too. We got the same rate.
There you go.
I do want to give flowers right now, A1, to Tiff the gift, because they say behind every great man is a great woman, right? And vice
Mhm.
versa. What is it like for her to support Tiff? I'm giving you your flowers. What is it like for her to support you in your dream? You know what I mean? And you doing this full time. Like, I'm sure she has to sacrifice a certain amount of things. Maybe I'm wrong, but she said she does it part time. So, what is it like to have that type of support behind you? 100%.
It's everything. I mean, it's more than just supporting me. This thing don't work without her. You know what I mean? Like, if I got to go overseas, she's planning it. You know what I'm saying?
Booking it.
Tax time come around, she getting me out of trouble. You know what I'm saying? This thing don't work without her being there. You know what I mean? Like we'd be a lot more uncomfortable if I plan everything because I'm
Mm.
gonna think differently than she will. You know what I'm
Sleeping in
saying?
them roach
Oh,
infested
we might have
motels
been,
and bed
we might have
bugs
been
and all.
at
Oh,
hostels.
man.
we might have,
This
you
ain't
know,
so bad. This is
like,
cool.
it
Side.
might
We
have been
good.
gutter. Like it might have been gutter if it was just me.
And
Um,
be like, it's an adventure, babe. We're just having an adventure.
like,
Don't be
but
mad.
because but I take in consideration that I'm traveling with my wife, so the accommodation is going to be way better.
Right.
It's going to be no ratchetness, none of that. Because I mean, I won't hear the end of it, but you know, she definitely saved a lot of heartache and pain when we out there on the road and just you know doing daily business. I mean, an example of that is the new merch. I got this logo, but she has a more low key logo, and that's selling well because she's like, listen, everybody don't want this. You know what I mean?
The S
So
on their chest.
right. But sometimes people want to support what you're doing. They just want to support it in a more low key way. They might want to wear it to work. So do something for those type of people, and that helped. Phonics was like, yeah, we should do that. So a lot of ideas come from her. You know what I mean? I have an artist at home, someone that's my equal at home. I benefit from that. It makes me better. It makes me a better musician, a better businessman. So it gives me a advantage. You know what I'm saying? When you have somebody in the room with you all of the time that has the your similar vast knowledge of the genre of music that you create and music in general. You know what I mean? And that can also give you honest critiques and honest answers about the move that you're about to make. She saved me from jumping out the window so many times on a lot of things that might have not panned out well. So I definitely believe that it is a great benefit and a blessing, as opposed to any way else to describe it. You know what I'm saying? It's just pure advantage.
I think,
Dar, y'all making me blush.
but
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
think also,
The
when it's
empathy, the
somebody
understanding.
like your wife, she wants nothing but the best for you. Nothing but the best for your family. So that also comes into consider everything she does and what she does. It's done because of the love she has for you and your guys' family and what she wants for you in life. I mean, it's amazing. It's nice. I mean, I miss my husband. We was like that. But I digress.
Tiff
But
for
yeah, I
president.
love it. I love it, man.
Well,
I love it.
thank you. But definitely, and we, it's definitely out of love for me, but I will
Mhm.
also say she does it out of love for the culture. She's not gonna let me
That
slip
too.
because she
Yeah.
understands how much that it means to me and how much the legacy means out there. So, her love for this culture and the genre is what keeps me afloat, keeps me up, keeps me fresh. You know what I mean? So it's,
Yeah.
it's not always about the man, it's about who the man surrounds himself with, the type of
Right.
individuals that have in your corner. And I have a mogul in my corner, like another version of myself that's even more improved that people don't get to see. That's checking everything. Like, did you do this? Did you
Dope.
do that? You got this? It's like a checklist. I have somebody to checklist off every aspect of what we doing. So I rarely make mistakes because of that. You know what I mean? It's just having a second pair of eyes again with that's on your level here. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's right there with you that can tell you that's not a good move. Do something else. or
I
that's
That's
hope,
not
why
enough
she's his
money,
gift. She's the gift.
or that's not enough
Yeah.
money. You ain't doing that.
I hope men that are watching this take notes because,
Called it a mogul.
Well,
you know,
not
Hey,
even, not only men. I
men
would like,
and
I hope
women.
women take
Yeah,
note of this because I'm also a widow. So
yeah, me too.
I I love to see black love. I love to see uh the supportive side because you get so
Me
much
too.
negative energy all the time. And to
Yeah,
see you guys being all that you are is really a blessing that people really need to see.
yeah. It's the same like in our brown communities.
love and
Like
hip hop.
it's just so much. Like I just love the completeness of you guys supporting one another when there's a lot of couples that don't. It's always like there's couples that are always checking the past. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, well, remember you did this. Remember you did, and it's more about keeping a checklist of what you did wrong rather than just supporting you. And I love it. Like I like it. I really
And
do
my
love this.
condolences to both of you ladies. I know that has to be a hard thing to lose a
Yeah.
spouse. So thoughts
Thank
and
you.
prayers always
Thank
with
you.
that. I don't care
Thank
how
you.
long or how short it's been. I know that's got to be a tough one.
It,
Yes.
yeah, it is. It is. But we get through it, don't we, SP?
Yeah, and then
We try.
you see people like yourselves and then you
Yeah.
get hope. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh,
Or
this could
teary
happen
eyed.
again because, it's dope it's just dope to see. And I'm so glad that y'all are both on here today because um it if you see it, you can achieve it, right?
Right.
And
Absolutely.
there's so few times that people are able to see it. And I'm so glad y'all are here together so that people can see what is possible if you get out of your own way.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
believe in
And thank you
love.
guys. Oh
Man,
yeah, you gotta believe in that.
yeah, it's 18 years
And
of
relax.
experience.
And relax. As long as you don't take too much seriously, it's gonna go great. I promise.
Hmm. Yeah.
Less stress. So Tiff, just like just a I guess a casual question on not casual, but like a basic question behind that. Any thoughts or comments on what he said? I guess regarding the relationship and the support and vice versa. I guess
Oh,
for you.
I mean, again, I appreciate the love he gives constantly, the daily affirmations. And I mean, even just what he said was a big deal. But the support that he gives me is just the same. Like he was saying, well, this wouldn't happen. And, I think we were in the midst of talking about sacrifices. But trust me, we're both in here making those, not just me, but him. And, he makes it so that, the thought was that if both of us stay, in a position where we're 9 to 5 and none of us take that music leap, right? We had to have something, obviously, because we have kids, to make sure that we have the backup no matter what happened with that plan. So one of us leaping meant that both of us could do it forever, one way or another. And that's more than enough for me. And I'm so grateful that he jumped out and did that and said, "Hey, I'm tired of, the 9 to 5 situation. I'm going to invest in me." And he did me a favor with that because now I can pick it up when I want to and say, "Hey, I want to make a record today. And can you guide that record through A1, or can you help me guide that record through?" And we sit down and converse about it, and it works out that way. So I'm just as grateful as he is. Trust me. And that's another part of marriage that makes it beautiful. The respect and admiration we have for one another. I don't think, I see people in relationships sometimes where they don't respect each other and they still are convinced that it's going to work. Respect and admiration are huge, and we reciprocate that. So the same sentiments he has about me, I could say about him in a few different ways. So I appreciate the love and I appreciate the support just as much as he does.
Wow. Go ahead, speak, son.
Oh no, go
All right,
ahead.
I wanted everybody. Man, everybody's crying on here. It's a very emotional show. Black love is beautiful. That's all I have to say. Women's Appreciation Month. Boom. Um, A1. This question is for A1 first, and then I'm gonna throw it to you, Tiff. A1. This song, Fatherhood, my joint, brought a tear to my eye the first time that I heard it, and I think I told you that off camera at other times or whatever. But I told you that I love that song for a guy who's never had a kid, allegedly. Sorry, no, I never had a kid though, to be honest. But I love that song. The first time I heard it, and it was what at the end of the album. What I love that song. Take me through the process of writing that song, concept, the beat. I don't know, man. This is gonna sound wild, but I lost my pop, right? Like more than 2010. It almost felt like you were my pop talking to me in a weird, when I was listening, I was like, this is eerie. It sounds like pop talking to me, And I think you were a little younger than me, A1 allegedly. So I thought that was a strange experience. But anyway, I digress. Take me through that, and then I kind of want to ask Tiff what it was like for her to hear that song. I don't know if she heard it while you were making it, or but starting with you, because fatherhood is important too. Let's not forsake that.
So it was the almost the arrival of my daughter, and I was just reflecting on my experience with fatherhood with my sons and how different it was going to be raising a daughter, for the first time and after such a long gap. So, the oldest is 20, the middle son, he's going to be 16, and she just turned 3. So there's a long time, a long window, got a lot of
Wow.
experience at being a father. And I just wanted to put those thoughts about my experiences from when I was younger and being a father and less responsible, out of youth and an experience, and now being a father with all this experience of life, a different worldview, and a different perspective. And I thought to put all of that into a song. So I wrote that song to several beats, and it ended up being on this album with the Phonics beat because I felt like it was necessary to have that conversation at that particular time, because Nothing Less was a pandemic album, so I had a lot of time to think, and I was thinking that
Facts.
we also need to reflect on being a parent during this time where you feel like, well, you're supposed to solve all problems and like be a superhero to your kids, but when it came down to going through the pandemic, it was you didn't really have a lot of answers. We were left to using our best knowledge to get through things and to be as soothing as we possibly could, when it came down to like for my oldest son, it was like no graduation, no high school prom. That was a milestone in his life. For my middle son, it was like he didn't really get an opportunity to even go to junior high school. He went to elementary school, a little bit of junior high school, and then he went to high school. You know what I mean? Like, so he did
Feels
junior high
like pieces
fine,
were
but
missing.
yeah. And for my daughter, it was just her developmental years, not being around that many people all of the time. So it was just a lot of thought into, let me just write about being a father from um a perspective of what I experienced and what I would expect um, that would happen, with parents and my daughter. So that's how I wrote it. And Phonics switched the beat at the 11th hour, as he always does, and I loved what he did with it.
And he
I
flew the
think it's
acapella to
special.
it. Sorry,
Excuse me.
he flew the acapellas to the new beat, or you had to
Oh yeah, yeah,
redo it
yeah,
to the
yeah,
new.
yeah. He switched it up at the last minute.
Wow,
That wasn't the beat that I wrote that to, but I wasn't mad at it. Because I'm used
he's
to
the
his
remix king.
process. Yeah, he's the remix king, and what he came back with was special. It fit the the concept really well. And you know, shouts out to DJ Everready putting them cuts on it. Oh man, those cuts were just
Perfect.
special. They were special, special. So everybody who contributed to that, I appreciate them, and very happy. It's one of my favorite records because it's the truth. It's heartfelt.
And I want to ask Tiff but one sec, Tiff. I'm sorry. I always have one last question. Right? This is the last question on this A1. Then I want to go to Tiff with this. What I love about it, right? And I want to kind of know why you did it. I love the simplicity to the lyrics. You know, Bob Marley says, complicated for the scholar and the elder to understand it, but simple enough for the babe and the suckling to get it. When I listen to that song, it hits both dynamics for me. No other lyric, no other song has that type of simplicity in the lyrics, but so heartfelt and so heavy. They say heavy like lead, light like feather. I don't know if I have that right, but there's something that's saying like that. Was that a conscious approach?
Um, when I so with nothing less, the whole album, I wanted to say a lot with as little words as I possibly could. So it was like using a lot of double entendres and things that had double meaning. So the simplicity of that record was so that I could be giving my kids. I'm actually talking to them, even though I'm talking to an audience. It's for them to reflect on what I'm saying when they come of age and their parents, and they can hear some of the things that I'm telling them, and they can hear some of the things that they might have experienced with me, and say, oh man, he's telling me through my experiences that I lived through and giving me a guide, so even though it's for everybody, it was specifically for them.
That's amazing. So
I
Tiff,
love that.
what was it like the first time you heard it? Now I don't know if you were around when he was writing it or banging it out or whatever, or you just heard it when it's finished. Tell me what that experience was like for you, experiencing that song.
I mean, I just love to hear how he loves fatherhood. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the things that I enjoyed about him most. Excuse me. I enjoy about him most is his level of enthusiasm when it comes to his kids. He again earlier what I said, not taking too many things seriously. So everything he said on that song was completely accurate. And speaking from someone who had a magnificent father, my father, in my eyes, I always put him on a pedestal. Um, that is the first man to show me what a man is supposed to be. So I think very, very highly of him, and I see those same characteristics and those same things in A. So it's good to watch, generations get to enjoy the level of fatherhood that he's on, just like I did. Because we all want the same or better for our kids if we had, halfway decent, upbringing or upbringings or parents or what have you. So to see him pass that along to them and to hear it on a track and know that it was 100% accurate. It's always cool to get the little insight, right? Where you know exactly what he's talking about. So, super dope song in my eyes. And yes, I did hear it before he recorded it. And I
Eh,
loved it then and I love it now.
No, that's cool. So I like that. I like that you guys can show each other your music before, you know, I like that before you put it out. And that song is special to me too. I mean, if you're a parent, it's gonna hit you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I
Thank you.
do.
And switching gears a little bit. I mean, as parents, sometimes we get, I think, too like really involved in being a parent. So like a question I'd have for you guys is like outside of the music or even parent, is there stuff that you guys do, either together or separately, other hobbies or things that you guys get into, like in your whatever free time you can find. I know how it is with kids.
Um, yeah, I mean, we have hobbies that we share, like sneakers and vinyl. We Those are things that we do together, and I draw sometimes. It helps relieve stress. It's very soothing. So that's something that I like to do. And outside of those type of things, I mean, just restaurants. you know, like just restaurants.
You a foodie like me.
Yeah, and indulge in just living life. I think that a lot of times we forget to actually live, and I consider myself blessed because I get to live every day. I have a lot of luxuries that are the simple luxuries of life. Always having um the type of coffee you want to drink, always having access to a bottle of wine, or something that love to have to treat yourself. So I indulge in a lot of the simple luxuries that we take for granted, but I really appreciate them because you don't have to have them. You know what I'm saying? It's people out there, it's alcoholics and winos that can't take a sip. They shake it, like oh my god. So I consider myself blessed. It's people that can't run the Starbucks when they feel like it. So those are the type of things that I appreciate, especially now. It's the little tiny things that mean something. You know what I mean? Like,
that we get to do with the kids because my daughter sees the Starbucks bag and cake pop.
yep, yep.
So
You know what?
they love going out and hanging out, and we try to incorporate music a lot into what we do together too. Like my daughter has uh, grown a liking for some reason to DJ controllers. My brother gave her a little DJ controller, so that's what she likes to do. So we try to make it so that we don't take too much time away from them, and more so try to incorporate what we're doing into their lives too, and see what they like because they might not like music. They may not like the same things we like. So a lot of it is watching to be able to spend time with them, and wherever the wind blows, I guess, is what we usually do. I'm a horrible planner, so when it comes to spending time, I might wake up on Saturday and be like, "Hey, you want to go to Philly, or you want to go?" And Antoine, A1 looks at me like, "Right now, yeah, right now." So nah, we don't. I don't think we have a whole lot of defined things like Antoine, like A1 said. The simple things are what we enjoy most doing together.
So just kind of off the topic, but if you had besides each other, what would be one of your dream collabs?
Mm,
Slick Rick,
yeah,
Oh, I love that answer.
Oh man, that would
She
be
said
so
that
dope.
quick.
yeah,
The
No,
Walters.
Slick Rick and Queen Latifah, those two people.
yeah. For me, um, you know, ironically, the people that I would love to collaborate with are not here no more. But for the person that I would like to collaborate, that I would love to do an album with, is Madlib. Like one day, I would love that to happen. I love to get that phone call, that text, the messenger bird, however he sends messages these days, because I heard he's like
And
real
iPhone.
elusive and not using phones and all of that. However that message comes to me, I love that to happen. That'd be amazing. To have something produced by him in my catalog.
And who
Bucket
were the
list
ones
type
that
stuff.
passed away? The ones who passed away, who would that have been?
Dilla and Doom, definitely, definitely. I would, I think every artist out right now, modern artists that fall under my art, some way, shape, or form, been touched by those three cats. I think they shaped modern music because of their rise, in the late '90s, the early 2000s. I think that arc kind of is still like the sonic wave that we on right now. It's just evolved. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got like the book Dilla Time. It's out right now. Um, you
Classic.
know, yeah, that timing is still prevalent in the music right now. In the hip hop right now, it's still we
The
still have
swing.
that
You mean like
swing.
the
Yeah,
swing
that
in
swing.
the
Right.
drums?
Yeah, that swing is still here. So it and it's not going anywhere. It's just a part of the repertoire of music. So yeah, those are the cats that I would like to collaborate with.
I would like. I need to read that book. I'm on Iceberg Slim's book right now. I've been. That's a good book.
Which one?
Yeah,
Pimp.
you gotta read it. I've
I
read
have
it
it. I have
before,
it.
but this is my second time. This time I'm listening to it though, because I read it, but now I'm doing the audio version, and it's just so much. It's a bit different than you reading it. You know what I mean? Because you hear the emphasis of the narrator. I think it's dope how they have those audio books that I could be driving and just hook it up to Bluetooth, and listen to it in my car.
I actually we own one of his albums. Tiff got me one of Iceberg Slim albums. As
Wow.
he actually narrated a lot of his material on albums, books,
Hmm.
everything, and he would go out and do performance pieces of some of the you know chapters
Right.
and
Yeah.
of the books. I was saying music of the books for a live audience. I think
Right.
what he was doing is incredible in terms of performance art, from being an author to like a poet, and all of that. Like, shouts out. He
Yeah. He had a
yeah, he really
unique life.
inspired hip hop as well.
Yeah.
Some things, some artists in hip hop really pulled from his narrative of black exploitation, that type of vibe. So yeah, nothing but respect for the literary world in that sense.
Right. Right. I like to
I
read.
didn't.
Period. So
Oh, go ahead. SP.
no, go ahead, Neville.
No, SP wanted to. I wanted to ask something. Can you? You want to go, SP?
No, go ahead.
I didn't want to ask this, but now we talked about. Now I want to ask this because it's about passing away. When we talk about somebody passing, I
Oh,
had this question, but I'm going to ask it now because now it's like a segue. I find, and I could be wrong here, but I find that great art comes sometimes, right, from some of the biggest losses. When I think of KRS One, Scott LaRock, think of Nas, Ill Will. These are people we haven't met, but we feel them and we know their name. It lives on. So for you, A1, in the documentary, there's a touching piece in there. It's quick, but it's heartfelt to me when your cousin Kareem passes away. Just like to talk about like mental health and things like that. How do you think that affected you coming up? Like
Well,
murder, PTSD, grief, anger,
well,
depression, things like that.
grief is a huge part of the recipe, because the grief is the lesson, and his death definitely affected me. I can live that day over and over again in my mind, because it was unexpected, um, and it just was a pile on. His death was a pile on. It was the beginning of the storm for me, because the following year I lost another cousin, my cousin Eddie, to a opioid overdose. And then, I lost my grandmother later on in the same year. So it was rough. '06, '07 was really, really challenging, a challenging time for my family, for myself. And the only way that I could immortalize them is I put them in the music a lot. You know what I mean? I have conversations, talk about them in the music. You know, my grandmother, I talk about her in my music. My cousin Kareem, Eddie, talk about them in the music. And even other friends that I lost that impacted my life in some way. I try to immortalize them in the music, because I know that the music is going to be here longer than I will. You know what I'm saying? So, I think sometimes we can immortalize figures and people through our art, because our art will last longer than we will. And I always was conscious of that. So that's why I, you know, lean on that to just put out there, because I think that death is also something, a relatable experience for every human on earth. They have had to face and deal with grief at some point. And I think that, it's the inescapable truth that we can all find some peace in when we deal with it and have some resolve about it, and we could talk about it openly. And that's why I choose that lane, and I lean on, nostalgia, I lean on those traumatic experiences and grief to help process it. It's my therapy. I don't have a therapist, so I just talk to the audience, and the audience becomes my therapist in some situations, depending on what song it is. And sometimes I become the
And it's
the,
healing.
the counselor. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because music is also therapeutic for the listeners. Because I
Right.
know for me, a lot of music has got me through a lot of hard times. Certain songs that I still listen to that take me back to that, but it's not a hard. It's more of a, like, I love this song because it got me through that type of thing.
Right.
Yeah. So let me ask you, where do you see yourself in 5 years, professionally, personally?
In 5 years,
Yeah.
I would like to see myself have grown. I like to see the company have grown into a more recognizable brand. That's what I would like to see. If this becomes like a household thing, then I've
Right.
succeeded in 5 years, because that would mean, I'm a millionaire. That would mean that this is taken care of. My
Mhm.
kids is taken care of, my friends and family, and I can empower the people around me with more revenue, more access, and space to be creative and do what they do. So I want to see this as a household name in 5 years, because then if we have achieved that and more kids know it, then our legacy is living. And it's just a matter of just when you establish a garden, all you have to do is maintain it. You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So if we can establish our garden, and it'll grow and give us a bountiful harvest every season. So that's why I say in 5 years, if this is out there, then I'm good. I achieve all goals. I check all of the boxes. So I hope that more people know what this logo is. More people are aware of our journey and our legacy and our music, because I think that sometimes we get out there and we just hear artists. We don't even see them anymore because
Mhm.
we're so plugged in to the headset. We're not really watching them on video shows. It's not a lot of interviews. So you hear people more than you see them today, even in such a visual world, especially underground hip hop.
Right.
Facts.
Yeah.
That's
So
true.
I think that making something visible that's tangible, and having this travel over thousands of miles away in both directions is a beautiful thing. But just to
Mhm.
to double, triple, to exponentially grow, to have more people understand and follow this, then we won, and I'm good with that.
Would
I'm content.
would you say that that sort of thing is something you would put in a definition of success, like being having that brand so recognizable, or how would you define success to people?
Um, I feel like I'm already successful because I get to do what I love for a living. My life is just pure passion. Like, I enjoy living. I wake up every day. I'm happy. I don't. It's a blessing not to have the same stresses that everybody else is going through. That's a huge blessing. So I'm already successful in that right. I would like to be more successful, and having this have more recognition means that my children would benefit directly off of my success. So then they would be successful, and it would be with less work than I had to do to maintain it.
Right.
All they have to do is go, if it's a garden, all they got to do is make sure the fruit ain't rotten, pick it, cut the bushes back, just maintain it. That's all they have to do is maintain it, and it will provide for them and their children. You know
Right.
what I
That
mean?
foundation, having
Right, right.
a strong foundation there.
Exactly, exactly. The foundation is the hardest work, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether you laying the foundation, putting it down with wood planks and digging deep in the ground, or if you're a brick mason and laying the foundation down as concrete, that's the hardest work. Those guys do all of the heavy lifting. That's why they get paid the most.
So this question is kind of for both of you. Um, what do you want your legacy to be? Not not only as a musician, but just as a person?
I know for me, I just, I want to live on as a person that was, you know, willing to treat people well. Always, and not always, because we can't always have a smile and it is not all rainbows, but I want to live a legacy of being Tiffany, for one, an individual. So the legacy for me is not necessarily, I mean, of course I want my children to eat and do better than I've done, but I also want them to know me forever and know the most intimate parts of me. And I think that, making music and creating gives people the most intimate parts of yourself. Like, I'm not the person to come and tell you a deep story, but I'll write about it and you'll hear about it. And my kids knowing me and the people that come after me, my nieces, my nephews, being able to listen to that and know who I was. We all want to make our mark, right? And before I leave here, I will also want the legacy to be me being able to give something back. That's the huge part for me. I always told A from like the time we dated when we were younger, much younger. I'm not gonna tell my business, but from the time that we dated when I was much younger, um, I told him that me being successful financially is for what I can do for other people. Cause right, I'm happy, and I mean, as long as I got clothing, shelter, food, I'm good. But I want to leave a legacy so that people are well taken care of. People knew who I was, and I want to leave a legacy of being a good person. Nobody wants, people are like, oh, when I go, I don't want you to be sad. I want you to be a little sad, you know, because if I leave here and you're not sad at all, I did something horribly wrong. You know what I mean? So I just want to leave the fact that, I want to leave a legacy of dang, I miss Tiff at the very least. And for good reason.
I,
Yeah.
I told my kids I want them to have a party, celebrate my life. You guys can cry later,
Yeah.
but celebrate my
Yeah.
life. Don't do no sad funeral thing.
Yeah, no. I totally feel the same way. But I need
Mhm.
I need them to be sad for a little bit though.
Right,
Like
right.
you
Me
gotta
too.
miss me.
Yeah, that's why I said be
Don't just be
sad.
like, oh, mama gone. It's all right. No.
Yeah, yeah. No, be sad a little later. You guys can,
Yeah,
but just celebrate my life when it first happens, and then go be sad.
exactly.
Yeah, I feel
Exactly.
you.
And
Oh,
what about you, A1?
for me, I like my legacy to be one that is highlighted by hard work, um, patience, and being passionate. I think that those things define, the independent sensibilities to a core. Um, what it takes to take the chance that we took to do things our way and to be stubborn enough to stay on course and stay authentic. So, if people walk away from the music and see our art out there and what we created and say, "Oh, this is so honest. This is a great portrayal." Like I learned something from this. I could tell how things were around the time when he lived, and I think that I did my job. If something that I said on the record still resonates with someone 20, 30 years later, then I've done my job. I just want to be relatable for people so that people can always come back to my art as a reference point. Because then if they do that, then I'll be immortal. My spirit will be immortal. I'll always be with, those that descend from me, because they'll always have that reference point, like, well, my ancestor A1 did this, he said this is, he made this impact, he did this. I've It's already a hell of a story for our grandchildren and our great grandchildren, but I want to make sure that our story lives past even that far, so that our bloodline just won't forget. Everybody that comes from us will know what we did and how much of a chance we took with it.
I
Right.
think it's a I think it's weird. I think it's hard for people to understand. We're at a certain age, and they haven't grasped hold of that thought that we are the ancestors.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
So I think it's dope that you included that in your statement because yeah, we are the ancestors and what are we going to leave for them to hold on to? So that's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. I try to be conscious of the fact that, everybody is mortal. Everybody has, mortality to face. And I think it's more important to leave things behind that people can hold on to, not necessarily tangible material things, because that's not what people remember you for. People remember you for the type of person that you were. So the way that I project onto so many different people and touch many people through my music, I just want to always be projecting the best energy and the best representation of myself out there so that I don't embarrass people that descend from me later, like, oh, he was kind of crazy. Like, I don't want to be associated with that. I want them to be proud of what we're doing now and say that's amazing, and I want our story to be told, many moons from now. You know what I mean? As much as this is rap music, as much as this is hip hop, as much as it's a label and everybody involved with it, it's a love story about people that, stayed together, that, made music together, had a family, and really followed, pursued their dream and stuck with it and made something out of it. You know what I'm saying? It's not every day regular folks can say, hey, it's a documentary out, you can go check it out. It's not every day that people find what you're doing that interesting. So I'm blessed for that. We ultimately blessed for that. Just people having enough interest to talk to us, for this long, just to figure out what makes us tick. That's saying something,
Right.
and it's appreciated, and I'm always humbled by that, because it's not about me, it's about what I'm doing and my effect on the people. Because without the people, this ain't happening. You see what I'm saying? Without the
Yeah.
audience, without the people that's holding you up, then this is a hobby. You see what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah. So it's always about what you putting out there for the people, because that's who matters the most.
So I wanted to piggyback off of that because you're talking about the love story, right? And your guys is wanting to leave behind. Have you guys ever thought about writing a book about your story? Because that would be like, I'm a book reader. I love books. I collect vinyl and tennies. I'm a big Jordan Air, Nike Air, Adidas. I got all that. But I love books too, and I love those type of books. You know what I mean? I think your guys would be very passionate,
Tiff?
interesting, and just real book. Like I would like that. You guys go write a book, okay?
Thank you. We might have to
I
do that.
I write all the time. Like I'm in a process of. It's funny you mentioned that. I'm in a process of writing a book. Um, More so about our son's story, our middle son's story, which I think would be impactful for anyone who reads it. That guy has exceeded many expectations, and he has a heck of a story to be told. So we're writing,
All right,
and
all
maybe
right.
we'll build off that.
There you go. Yeah, I'm gonna
Dope.
read that one too. Yeah.
You you also mentioned like having lessons or things to teach people in your music. Is there anything like if you could like go back and talk to yourself when you were younger? I mean, is there a lesson that you would give yourself or any advice? Um, you know what I mean?
Yeah, don't listen to your peers. I mean, I would just, if it was up to me and I could go back to tell myself something, it would be just to tell myself, listen to yourself, listen to your elders, don't listen to your peers, because they trying to figure it out. They don't have it figured out. You know what I mean? They just like you, so don't listen to them. They gonna make bad decisions. They making the same mistake you ready to make. But listen to your elders and listen to yourself, because I think that our internal, conscious, our moral compass, and our subconscious wakes up, and we already know the right answers for ourselves. But it's that person next to us that's like, nah, I don't do it. That it's just that deductive reasoning making us question ourselves to go and make a bad decision. And that's what I've learned, and that's what I would tell myself. Like, yo, stop sharing music with people. Don't listen to them. You would have been done this 10 years sooner had you not listened to people and trusted yourself. So that's definitely something that I would tell myself, because I think that I would have figured it out a lot earlier. And the other thing I would say is, yo, trust your wife. Facts. That make sure you trust her. You gonna
Mic
meet
drop.
her like 24 years old, buddy. Trust her, because she gonna give you the best, the best advice you can ever receive.
And
Like
she's your best friend.
you would
Amen.
you would avoid a lot of pitfalls. Have you listen?
Hey,
All
one
right.
though. Quick question with that part.
Well,
I just,
let Tiff answer.
oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, all right.
What would I tell myself? Um, be confident at all times. Bet on yourself. Nobody loves you more than you. And that pretty much sums that up. I don't have a lot to say about what I would say to my younger self, but I think those three things would cover it all, and it would have saved me from a lot of heartache
Those
and
are
bad
very
decisions.
important. Yeah, those three are very important. And it's sad that we don't realize that till we get older,
Yeah,
that those are important.
Well,
So,
and as women, I think that's just something we don't like. It's not instilled in us either.
right.
So I mean, like, and even with now you have a daughter, like that's something also, that's your younger self, basically in another body. So I mean, being able to help her get that confidence maybe that she didn't have, and I think that's amazing.
yeah. Like and even when we try to give it to our kids, my mom gave it to me. She told me, you're a beautiful person. I remember asking her one day. I was getting all dressed and getting ready to go somewhere. And I said, Mom, I look, I'm, got confidence that day. So I'm like, Mom, I look good, right? She's like, I can only answer that question based upon who you see when you look in the mirror, how many people you've made smile today. And that was so complicated at the time. But as time went on, that made me realize that it came from within. My mom could
Mm-hmm.
tell me I was beautiful every day. People could tell you you're this great person. But until you start believing it and really, and you have that embedded in you from you, it's just a thing. Because society doesn't make women feel too great every day. It's
Yeah.
That's a
just,
fact.
it's like one dimensional, and they have this definition of beauty. They have this definition of brains, and don't sit like this, and don't do that, and don't do this. If you try to keep up with that, you will never win. You
Mm-hmm.
try to study that, and you will never graduate ever. Um, the only thing you can be sure about is you. So loving you is extremely important. And your
Right.
your daughter will figure it out, just like we figured it out.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, we just hope that
Yeah.
they do so sooner.
Yeah, that your mom gave you some very deep she gave you some gems, some jewels right there. And you're right, probably took time to understand what she meant by that. Yeah.
A lot of time,
Yeah, yeah,
probably too much time, but I did get it.
right. Yeah.
Hey,
So,
hey, one. It was just before. I just wanted to ask for clarification because I think I was a little confused when you said peers. You meant rap peers, or you mean like friends growing up? Don't listen to them. Like, what did you mean?
Any peers, because again, whether it's rap peers and people that you in the industry with, trying to come up with, or if it's your friends, all those perspectives are going to be with some type of lens on them. You know what I mean? Your friends are going to give you advice through colored lenses, and your peers may look at what you're doing in a more stark, more competitive way, your musical peers, and just not want to give you the props that you deserve because they see you as a competitor, see you as a competition, and your friends are gonna look at you through rose-colored glasses all of the time and say, "Hey, everything is dope," So I avoid both. I don't. Everybody gets the record when it's done, just like everybody who's gonna listen to it, so that there's no one imposing their will on my art in particular. The only people that need to be involved in the decision making process of the album is the people that's making it. Period. So I mean, I just grew out of being so excited about my music that I want everybody to hear it, because what you asking for is a critique, and that critique could derail that creativity and push you in a different direction that you
Mm-hmm.
don't need to go in. You could have already been on the right path, but that person that you bump into to say, "Nah, this ain't it, man." What's the story behind it? It's not it why. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
their opinion can change. You know what I mean? Oh man, I never heard it like this before. Well, you told me it was garbage like 2 weeks ago. What are you talking about? It's the same song. So again, I've heard it all, seen it all in terms of responses and everything, and I just find it to be better just to not involve people in my creative process, except for the people that need to be in the creative process. Everybody hear the album when it come out, just like everybody else.
Yeah. So the name of the show is Powerful Impact. This is for both of you. Who are the three most influential people that provided a powerful impact in your life, either personally or professionally, or both, and why?
My answer, since Tiff took a pause there, the three people that most influenced me in my life are obviously my parents. Those are two people, and then my wife, because I think that those people have been the most important people, from my parents with my start of life to now, my wife, me building a life with her. You know what I'm saying? It's like you getting your second win and you becoming an adult and you thinking independently. And now, you building a household with somebody else, creating your own rules because you're not under your parents' roof, and so forth and so on. So I think that those people have influenced me the most in life, and again, with my parents, go deeper there. I worked under my father, for my father before. So, I got a lot of work ethic from him. I got a lot of mannerisms from him. I had my heart and my spirit and some of my judgment, that comes from my mom, and I'm a shrewd businessman, and it comes from my wife. And not that she's, like a shrewd businesswoman behind the scenes, but um, the confidence to know your worth and your value is what she gives me. Know how much you're worth. Make it make sense. Make what they trying to give you make sense to you. So different lessons in different parts of my life. I have to always go to those people that help shape the path and the narrative.
I gotta rock with the same three. I gotta rock with my mom because she was just wise beyond her years and just one of the best friends I could ever ask for in my life. My dad, because he's just a great all around guy. He taught me how to be calm when I need to be. He taught me that great Bible verse about there being a time for everything in life. Um, so he was great in that way. And A1, just because that, I mean, we literally ran into each other when we were basically kids, just a little above kids. Um, so right into adulthood. So I mean, just having that journey and adventure with somebody is gonna make them super impactful. I mean, basically, we grew up together. You think you're grown when you're 16, 17, but when you hit, that 18, 19, 20, you grow together. Um, So yeah, those people were most influential.
Wow, those yeah, that's great. I like those answers. It the way you guys love each other is just inspirational. Really, I love it. I just want to. You guys have anything else you want to ask Morgan SB? So I figure we close out on that because
Hmm. Go for it.
all right. I just want to give everyone a shout out. Thank you, A1. Thank you, Tiff the Gift, for joining Powerful Impact, joining us, Morgan. Thank you for joining us. It was nice having you here. Um, SP, I love you. I thank you all the time, so you already know that. Neville, thanks. And I just want to say, you guys follow us when subscribe, hit the like, leave a comment, let us know who you want us to interview next, and please, please go stream their music. Check out their merch. They got new projects coming out. Just tell your friends,
So,
tell five people so they can tell five people and they can tell five people. Let's support. It's important to support independent artists, and these are two of the best that we got right here. So please support them.
A1 and Tiff, do y'all have anything y'all anybody y'all want to shout out or promote?
Yeah.
Yeah, shouts out to Don't Sleep Records family. Phonics, Tiff, Anti Lily, Deflo, MZ, Peas the Prophet, everybody we working with. Shouts out to Mutiny Merch and Seth over there for helping us put our new line together. We have an Essentials collection available now on don'tsleeprecords.com. Go stream the album Nothing Less. Go check out Underdogs on Red Bull TV, and look out for my new album coming soon, produced by Soul Dope 95. It's going to be called Critical Race Theory, and this
Ooh.
album is an exploration through blackness, and the understanding of what that is like to be black in America or anywhere in the diaspora around the world. So look for that soon. It's gonna be an interesting journey, and just another album for people to dig into and get something from. And thank you all for having us. It's amazing. We appreciated every question, and you guys are so knowledgeable. Really appreciate that so much. So thank you all.
You're welcome. I mean, this has
Wait, Tiff has some.
yes,
Yeah.
Tiff.
Jeff, I was waiting for
Oh
Jeff.
no, look, let me tell you something. I shout out to the whole Don't Sleep family, always, Phonics Def, Anti Lily, everybody else rocking with us, my brother Chad. But look, thank you guys. I had like the longest day ever, so you don't know how great this made me feel to be able to talk today and express myself a little bit. These opportunities come few and far between with the type of schedule that I have. But you guys really made me smile today. SV, uh, who is my person in the middle, passive assassin. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Thank you. And y'all know I can't see. Tiptoe.
Tiptoe.
Yeah, Maria. You can call me Maria. That's my name, Maria.
But
But I go by
Miss
Tiptoe.
Yeah, to Tiptoe and Nev, I really appreciate you guys. You brought my spirits up today. So, you never know how the stars are gonna align, but thank you guys for bringing up my spirits today and showing me some love. And I love y'all right back.
But thank you both so
Thank you.
much. Really, Tiff coming on was a surprise to me. I
Me too.
normally ignore Nev, so I didn't know she was gonna be.
We all, yeah.
And I just lost
Maria,
all
relax.
my cool points.
That you got, hey, whichever ones you lost, I gave them back to you because you get a whole bunch from me, sis. That's for sure.
I truly appreciate you. Truly appreciate both of you coming on. This was amazing.
Hmm.
Amazing.
You're
Yeah.
welcome back anytime. Anything you want to promote, if you just want to come and talk,
Yeah.
we're here.
Yeah, thank you. You guys are doing such a great job too. Please keep it up. We need this, and so many underground artists need that platform. So don't stop, don't get tired. be diligent and be steadfast, like we talked about earlier. And y'all are great at what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Means
Thank
a
you
lot
so
coming
much.
from you.
Sleep.
Absolutely. Don't sleep. Appreciate y'all.
Yes.
All right.
Appreciate you.
So
Peace,
we're
love,
out of here.
respect, all that good shit, right?
Right on.
Right.
That's my saying right there. Peace, love, respect, and all that good shit. Let's
I
keep it
love
going.
it.
Love that. Yeah. Let's go.
Come on,
All
babe.
right. This is Powerful Impact, and we're out. Peace.
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 Peace,
They've
y'all.
gone out and made a powerful impact. We've gone out and made a powerful impact. Now you go out and make a powerful impact in the community. One love. Boom. Rest in power to Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G. March 9th. Shout out to Passive Assassin. Boom.